Hello, Lovelace, and welcome to today's wider curriculum lesson. Now, we've left behind the invaders and we're moving into a new unit. And the first part of that unit is all about maps and map reading. Okay, so today, just a basic introduction to maps and map reading with a couple of questions for you. Can I use the 8 points of a compass? And can I use 4-figure grid references? Okay, both of those things will become clear during the lesson, so don't you worry. Well, my first question to you is, do we know where we live? Yeah, I know that seems like a daft question. I'm sure we all know our address, and I'm sure we know how to find our way home and all those sorts of things. But do you know where in the UK you live? Just have a little point on the screen to where you think you are right now. And let's see how close you are. Okay, are we all pointing at somewhere on the screen? Is your finger somewhere near here? Because that's where Slough is. Okay, so Slough is just to the left of London. Now, I'm saying left deliberately because we're going to get onto compass directions in a moment. Okay, but we can all see the map is made up of a number of separate countries. Now, Slough is in England. Above England, we've got Scotland. To the left of England, we've got Wales. And if we keep going to the left, you've got Ireland and Northern Ireland. Now, these countries are often grouped together using different terms. Now, do you know what those terms actually are and what they mean? Which countries are included in those different terms? And the terms I'm talking about are these. So we know we live in England, but is that in Great Britain? Is it in the United Kingdom or UK? Or is it in the British Isles? These terms are sort of thrown around, but do you know which countries are included in each of those? So which countries are part of Great Britain, which countries are part of the United Kingdom, and which countries are part of the British Isles? And don't worry if you're not sure, because believe me, lots and lots and lots of people are not sure and confuse it regularly. Okay, so we're going to have a quick look now to see at how these countries come together under different titles, under different groups. Okay, so there's the map we've just been looking at, but color coded slightly differently. Can you spot the difference between the three maps? Okay. So the first one shows us Great Britain. The countries included in Great Britain are England, Wales, and Scotland, together with some of the Scottish islands. So we've got the Hebrides and the Orkneys and some of the islands there. But you'll notice that Ireland, Southern Ireland, and Northern Ireland are not included. The Isle of Man, which is this island just here in the Irish Sea, is not included. The Channel Islands, which are Jersey and Guernsey, and there's a few others in that little cluster there, are not included. So they're not part of Great Britain. It is Scotland, Wales, and England. However, if we talk about the United Kingdom, then Northern Ireland is included. But once again, Southern Ireland and the Isle of Man and the Channel Islands are not. Okay, so the United Kingdom is England, Scotland, and Wales, and Northern Ireland. But then when we talk about the British Isles, then all of those areas are included. So within the British Isles, although it's a completely separate country, Southern Ireland or the Republic of Ireland is included as part of the British Isles, as is the Isle of Man and the Channel Islands. Okay, so this is why some people do get confused. So if you think about the Olympic Games, for example, they talk about the Great British team, but actually what they say is Great Britain and Northern Ireland. Now, it might be easier just to say the United Kingdom team, but they don't. So for the Olympic Games, it's Great Britain and Northern Ireland. But United Kingdom does include Northern Ireland. Okay, so just a little bit of information there as regards where you live. Yes, you do live in Slough. Yes, you do live in England, but you also live in Great Britain. You also live in the United Kingdom. You also live in the British Isles. But some people don't live in all three. Okay? Maybe test people in your house to see if they know which countries make up Great Britain, United Kingdom, and the British Isles. You might be surprised at people's understanding because people do get confused. Right, now, as we've just said, there are a number of countries that make up the British Isles, and each one has its own capital city. Now, I'm sure you will have known some of these, but maybe not all of them. So England, the country where we live, London is its capital city. For Scotland, Edinburgh is a capital city. Down here in Wales, you've got Cardiff. For Northern Ireland, you've got Belfast. And for the Republic of Ireland or Southern Ireland, you've got Dublin. Okay, so 5 countries, 5 separate capital cities, each of which contains its own government to make certain decisions. Now, London has Westminster, which is the main government for the United Kingdom. So they make a lot of the decisions, but equally, Belfast, Edinburgh, and Cardiff have their own government offices that will make certain decisions locally. Okay. Right, moving on. The compass. Okay, so the compass directions. We remember the compass point using mnemonics like never eat shredded wheat, naughty elephants squirt water, or being a Wigan fan, when I was working in a school in St Helens, which was a rival team, they used to joke with me saying it should be never ever support Wigan. I don't agree, but anyway, so these are the 2 common ones. Maybe you can think of one yourself. And the idea behind these, first of all, is to remind you what the 4 compass directions are: north, east, south, and west, but also to remind you the order they come. So we start at the top of the compass with north, and then work round in a clockwise direction: north, east, south, west. Okay, so it's just a reminder of the order that those compass points come in. Right. Quick challenge. Does it and say, do you have any of your own? Have you come across any, or can you think of any now? So 4 words that make sense together. So a 4-word phrase or a 4-word sentence that starts with N, E, S, W. It can be as daft as you like. With a mnemonic, the most important thing is that, first of all, it's correct, but also that you remember it. I mean, the one I always remember, Richard of York, game battle in vain, reminds me of the colours of the rainbow. My very easy method, just speeded up naming planets, helps me remember the order the planets come in our solar system. And never eat shredded wheat reminds me of the compass directions and the order that they come. So maybe you can think of your own. Maybe it's personal to you, so you remember it even better. Okay? So, hopefully we are all familiar with north, east, south, and west. But we also need to be familiar with the other main 4 points. So some compasses have 8 points. Now there are 16 and 32 pointed compasses as well. Do not think for 1 second that 8 points is the end of this. But if you're familiar with the 8 points of the compass, then you're well on your way. So we've got our north, east, south, and west. But in between those main 4 are northeast. So halfway between north and east, northeast. Halfway between south and east, southeast. Halfway between south and west is southwest. And halfway between north and west is northwest. Now, for a reason I'm not particularly sure about, the north and the south come first. So it's northeast. So we're not going east-south, we go southeast, then southwest, and it's not west-north, it's northwest. So north and south, they take priority, and they always go first in these particular directions. Okay, so we go north, northeast, east, southeast, south, southwest, west, northwest, and north. Okay. Hopefully you can clearly see why northeast is northeast. It's halfway between north and east. equally, you can see very clearly that southwest is between south and west. Okay, so we need to be familiar with all 8 of these points. Our naughty elephant squirting water will remind us of the main 4, but then you need to be able to work out the next 4, okay? Right, here we go back to our map of the British Isles, together with the capital cities. A few little questions for you. At each point, if you feel you need to pause the video, please do. But using the 8-point compass, so remember, north, east, south, and west, and northeast, southeast, southwest, and northwest, can you answer the following questions? Question 1. Is London located in the northwest or the southeast of England? I'll give you the answers in a little while, but let's look at the questions first of all. Question 2. Which is further south, Cardiff or Dublin? Question 3. Which capital city is farthest north? Question 4. What direction is Belfast from London? Okay, so if you're leaving London to go to Belfast, which direction do you travel? And 5. Which direction would you travel from Edinburgh to Cardiff? Okay, 5 questions. If you need to pause the video, please do, because I'm going to show you the answers now. So number 1, is London located in the northwest or the southeast of England? Well, it's down here. There's England, the white area, and it's down here. So it's in the southeast of the country. 2, which is furthest south, Cardiff or Dublin? Well, there's Dublin. So there's the line that Dublin is on, and Cardiff is on that line there. So Cardiff is further down. Cardiff is further south. 3, which capital city is farthest north? Well, north is up on our map. So which one's the furthest up there? It's going to be Edinburgh in Scotland. 4, which direction is Belfast from London? Well, there's London and there's Belfast. So roughly what direction is that line? From there going to there, that is northwest. And finally, which direction would you travel from Edinburgh to Cardiff? There's Edinburgh, and we go straight down to Cardiff, or nearly straight down. You're traveling south. Okay, hopefully you got all 5 of those correct. Well done if you did. Now, throughout this topic, we're going to be looking at a particular type of map, and they're called OS maps. But what exactly are they? Now, OS is Ordnance Survey, and it's Britain's mapping agency. So it's a group of people their working life is to map Britain, to get all the details, all the physical features, everything correct, accurate, and onto maps for people to buy and use. Now, OS maps show human and physical features of the environment. Now, human features are things that we have created, things that we have added to the environment. Physical features are things that have always been there. Okay, so basically, man-made and natural. That's a way to think about it. So physical features, the things that are actually there because of nature, so hills, rivers, lakes, so on. Human features, things that we've added to our environment. They also include contour lines. Now, these lines show the height of the land above sea level, so we can see where there are hills, mountains, slopes, valleys, and so on. Okay? They include rivers, grasslands, forests, marsh, lakes, so all sorts of physical features, so what the environment is actually like. They also include man-made features, canals, which is a man-made river, bridges, footpaths, buildings, roads, and so on. And OS maps are particularly useful for anyone wanting to navigate on foot, such as long-distance walkers. They're really useful to know if you're coming up on a hill, so you can decide whether to go up and over it or around it. Really useful to know what the terrain is going to be like. Are you going to be going through marshy, wet, horrible ground? Are you going to be walking on footpaths? So really useful to know what's coming up. And an OS map, an Ordnance Survey map, will share with you all that information. Now, finding a way around a map requires what we call grid references. Now, each square on an OS map has a unique 4-figure grid reference, so a 4-figure number. And we can see on this one, so we've just got a very small grid here. Say an OS map would be full, absolutely covered in grids like this. And this square here has got the grid reference 5714. And the reason it is 5714 is because we look along the bottom, which is the easting number. Remember, we've got east to west and we've got north to south. So we've got the easting number and we're in square 57. If we cross the line there, we would end to square 58, but we're not. We're in this one here. This one is 57. And then we take the northing, which is the up vertical measurement, and we're in square 14. Cross the line and we'd enter 15. But here we're in 57 and 14. So our grid reference is 5714. Equally for this one, we look down here at our easting number and we're in square 58 and 15. Okay, so where these two meet, 58 and 15. So 5815 gives us this square's grid reference. Okay, don't worry, we're going to practice that now. Here we go. Right, we've got a blank grid at the minute. I'm going to drop some dots in there, and you're going to see if you can come up with the 4-figure grid reference for each one. Remember, we go eastings first. So we're going to go along the corridor and then up the stairs. So whatever the horizontal number is goes first in your grid reference. Whatever's the vertical, the northing, goes second in your grid reference. Okay, let's have a look at a few. Right, have a think. What's the grid reference of the red spot? (1945). The reason is we go on the horizontal first and we get to square 19. We go up and we've reached square 45. So 1945. Hopefully that makes sense. Let's have a look, a few more. What about the green one? What's the grid reference of the green spot? I hope you got 1644 because we're in square 16 on the horizontal and we go up to 44 on the vertical. Okay, so 1644. Couple more. What about the blue spot? Have a think. Hopefully you got 1743 because we're in square 17 and square 43 is where they meet. So 1743. Next one. What about the yellow spot? Have a think. Did you get 1646? I hope so. 16, because we're in square 16 and we go all the way up to 46. So 1646 for the yellow. Last one. Let's see if you can get this one. What about the purple spot? What's its grid reference? Did you get 2042? I hope so, because on the easting, on the horizontal, we get to square 20, 20, and we're on that first row, which is 42, 42. So 2042 would be its grid reference. Okay, right. Time for you to have a go. Here we have a map. Okay. Simple little map of an island surrounded by water. Two sets of questions for you. First of all, question 1. I would like you, please, to give me the 4-figure grid reference to the following 6 places. Now, the legend here, so the key tells you what each of the symbols means. Help you find them. So first of all, you need to find a bridge. So find a bridge on the map and tell me which square it's in. So what's its 4-figure grid reference? Then find the hospital. Then find the lighthouse. So what square is the lighthouse in? Then a ship. Okay. Now, if there's more than one, it'd be nice if you can give me both grid references? Where's the coal mine? And finally, where are the dolphins? Again, if there's more than one, feel free to give me both answers. For question 2, I've flipped the questions because this time I'm going to give you the grid references and I want you to tell me what is the main thing you can find in that square. So what's the main thing you find in 1139? What's the main feature in 1140? C, what's the main feature in 1236? D, what's the main feature in 1238? E, what's the main feature in 1334? And F, what is the main feature in 0838? Okay, so a little bit of practice, just plotting and reading 4-figure grid references. That's the end of today's task. Okay, guys? So, as always, please look after yourself, look after those around you, and stay safe. And I'll see you all very soon.